when you're just a pretty face.
Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Don't be scared if you don't fit in. Look who's in the reject bin. It's the Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Made him perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the Raggy Dolls and say I just don't care. 'Cause Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls
Raggy Dolls.
are happy just to be Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me.
It was 6:30 and just beginning to get dark. The Raggy Dolls were worried. They were all alone in Mr. Grimes' toy factory. They stood on a box and looked out of an upstairs window. It had been a terrible day. The morning had been wet and windy, and on his way to the factory, Mr. Grimes had had his umbrella blown inside out. The afternoon had been even worse. The wind had knocked over a dustbin outside the canteen. And when Florrie Fosdyke opened the door to see what was going on, her hat blew away and could not be found. Now, a fierce gale was blowing. The wind was everywhere, rattling the windows, howling round the chimneys, and outside, the Raggy Dolls could hear the tool shed door swinging and banging. Lucy began to tremble.
Oh, I'm frightened,
She moaned.
the wind's going to blow away the whole factory in a minute.
Don't be silly, said Dotty, a little bit scared herself. No wind could do that, could it? Nah, said Back to Front. This factory's solid as a rock. No problem. Just then, there was a loud rattling and scraping noise, followed by a crash down in the factory yard. What on earth was that? Whispered Princess, clutching Hi-Fi's arm very tightly. Ow! You're hurting me, stammered Hi-Fi. Relax, said Back to Front. It's just a loose tile. Nothing to worry about. But Back to Front was interrupted by another scrape and crash, and then another, as two more loose tiles slid off the roof. Sacré bleu! Exclaimed Claude. Quel mauvais temps! C'est formidable! It's the end of the world, thought Sadsack glumly. By now, it was completely dark outside. The wind howled and moaned and seemed to shake the whole factory.
I don't like it up here by the window,
Said Lucy.
I'd feel much safer back in the reject bin.
Good thinking, said Dotty. Come on, everyone! Dotty led the way through the factory. Suddenly, there was a buzzing noise, and all the lights flickered and grew dim. The Raggy Dolls stopped in alarm.
Oh no, said Princess. Something's wrong with the electricity.
Suddenly, the lights were bright again.
Phew,
Said Dotty.
thank goodness for that. I thought for a moment we were going to have to find our way back in the dark.
But just as the Raggy Dolls were about to set off, out went the lights. Oh no, moaned Sadsack. It is the end of the world. No, it's not, said Hi-Fi. It's just a power cut. Lucy began trembling again.
Oh, whatever are we going to do now?
No problem, said Back to Front, sticking his arms out in front of him. I'll feel our way back to the reject bin. Hold on to me. The Raggy Dolls stumbled about and got in line. Ow! That's my foot you're standing on, complained Sadsack. Just then, he realised he was standing on someone else's foot. He was just about to apologise when he realised he was standing on his own foot. Everyone ready? Called Back to Front, as another tile crashed outside. Back to Front was quite used to not being able to see where he was going, and in no time at all, after a few bumps, the Raggy Dolls were safely back in the reject bin.
Hurry up with that torch, Hi-Fi,
Said Dotty.
Just a minute. It must be somewhere about here.
And sure enough, it was. There was a click, and the Raggy Dolls could see each other again. They all looked rather startled.
What a terrible storm,
said Dotty at last.
Where does the wind come from?
Asked Lucy.
And where does it go?
Wondered Princess.
And why is there so much of it?
Thought Sad Sack.
We'd better save the batteries, said Hi-Fi,
looking at the torch.
Oh, don't turn it off yet,
wailed Lucy. Claude put his arm around her shoulder. Do not have fear, he said kindly. Nothing can happen to us ici.
Claude's right,
said Dotty.
And so is Hi-Fi. We ought to try and get some sleep.
But it was hard to get any sleep with the windows rattling, and the wind howling, and the tiles crashing to the ground. And of course, the noises sounded worse in the dark.
What a mess,
sighed Mr. Grimes when he saw the damage the next day.
This is going to take some time to put right,
he thought.
I'll have to stop production and put everyone on repairs.
The Raggy Dolls woke up to the sound of men talking about the terrible storm.
The town's got no electricity, said one. Everyone's buying candles. Back to the dark ages, eh?
Someone laughed.
It's serious, said another voice. Lots of big trees have been blown over, snapping the power lines, damaging cars. That's right. It's no laughing matter, said another. My neighbours were nearly killed when a tree fell on their house.
The Raggy Dolls listened in amazement.
What about our tree house?
Whispered Lucy.
I hope it's all right.
The Raggy Dolls decided to investigate as soon as possible. Meanwhile, in the canteen, Florrie Fosdyke was boiling a big kettle on a small gas ring.
It's lucky I had this little camping cooker at home, she thought. At least I'll be able to make everyone a cup of tea.
She put on a headscarf and set off to find Mr. Grimes.
If only I'd thought of wearing a headscarf yesterday,
she muttered.
Then I wouldn't have lost my favourite hat.
The Raggy Dolls hurried across the big field to the tree house.
Oh, I do hope it hasn't been blown down by the storm,
worried Lucy.
It was such a lovely old tree.
Mais oui, agreed Claude. I am keeping, how you say, my fingers crossed. At last they got to the treehouse. It was still standing.
What a relief,
said Dotty.
Well, the tree's all right, said Back to Front, but the house is going to need some repairs.
The Raggy Dolls climbed up the stairs inside the hollow tree. Luckily, there wasn't too much damage. A magpie suddenly popped his head through a hole in the roof.
Who's that? Oh, thank goodness, it's only you. Oh, what a terrible night. I've had quite enough nasty surprises, thank you. Quite enough.
He seemed very agitated.
Whatever's the matter?
Asked Lucy.
I was attacked in the night by a thing,
said the magpie, looking around nervously.
What sort of thing?
Asked Dotty.
It was funny-shaped, with horrible colours,
said the magpie.
Said
Lucy.
Where is it now?
I'll show you,
said the bird. And there, high up on a broken branch, was Florrie Fosdyke's hat. The Raggy Dolls all laughed and explained to the magpie what it was, and got on with mending the treehouse.
Poor Florrie Fosdyke,
laughed Dotty.
She'll be glad to get her hat back.
I wonder if she can remember how she lost it, said Back to Front.
Well, I can, and I hope we never, ever, ever have another storm like that, said Princess.
Quite right, thought Sad Sack. I couldn't have said it better myself.
It's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face. Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Look around and you will find people of every kind, like the Raggy Doll,
Raggy Doll,
Raggy Doll,
Raggy Dolls.
dolls like you and me. Raggy Doll,
Raggy Doll,
Raggy Doll,
Raggy Dolls.
made him perfectly. So if you're not at ease with your knobbly knees and your fingers are all fuzz, stand on your two left feet and join our Raggy Doll chums. 'Cause Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls
Raggy
are
Dolls.
happy just to be Raggy Dolls. Raggy dolls.